The morning sunlight spilled through the enormous windows of the Bowmont estate, casting soft golden light across the pristine marble floors. But even the warmth of a new day couldn't hide the exhaustion carved deep into Aldrich Bowmont's aging face. For months, the elderly man had been suffering in silence, moving through his own home like a fading shadow, clutching his lower back, wincing with every step, and masking his pain whenever his son, Rowan Bowmont, walked through the door. Rowan, a sharp and disciplined American businessman who worked non-stop to maintain his empire, believed his father was simply getting older, nothing more. He chalked up the aches to aging, the tired eyes to time, and the silence to habit. He trusted his father's reassurances. And he trusted his wife, Selene, graceful, elegant, and seemingly devoted to the family. That illusion shattered on one ordinary afternoon. But before we continue, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of truth, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner of MotivHeart Tales. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Rowan had always been a man with a hardened exterior, someone who'd fought through corporate storms and ruthless competition. But around his father, he softened. Aldrich had raised him alone after Rowan's mother passed away years ago. He had once been strong, vibrant, and full of life. But lately, his laughter had faded, replaced by quiet sighs and forced smiles. Still, whenever Rowan asked, Aldrich would say he was fine. He never wanted to be a burden. Rowan believed him. And when Selene casually explained bruises on Aldrich's arms, untouched meals, and his worsening limp, Rowan believed her too. "He's clumsy," she'd say with a sigh. "He refuses help. He forgets things. He just wants attention." And Rowan, busy, overwhelmed, and trying to keep peace, let himself believe those excuses. But everything changed one bright afternoon. Rowan finished a business meeting earlier than expected. For the first time in weeks, he'd be home before sunset. Smiling to himself, he picked up lunch from his father's favorite restaurant, excited to surprise both Selene and Aldrich. But the moment he stepped inside the mansion, something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. Too still. A strange tension hung heavy in the air. Then he heard it, a faint voice echoing down the east corridor. A strained, shaking voice murmuring apologies, again and again, like someone begging under their breath. Rowan's heart tightened. He followed the sound slowly until it led him to the luxurious guest bathroom. He pushed the door open just an inch, quietly. And what he saw inside didn't just shock him. It broke him. On the cold marble floor knelt his father. Aldrich, sweating, trembling, breath shallow, was struggling to scrub the toilet. His bones shook with every movement, his back twisted with pain, his ribs visible under his worn grey shirt. And on his chest hung a heavy baby carrier with Rowan's infant twins, his children from his previous marriage, sleeping against Aldrich's weakened body. Selene had insisted he could handle them. That it made him feel useful. But this was cruelty. Standing over Aldrich was Selene, in a fitted maroon dress, arms crossed, expression cold enough to freeze stone. She tapped her heel against the tile, irritation written all over her face. "Stop complaining. And hurry up," she said sharply. Not yelling. Not screaming. Just pure, chilling contempt. Aldrich whispered another apology, like a child afraid of punishment. Rowan's heart twisted painfully. His father wasn't just hurting physically. He was afraid. Then it happened. Aldrich winced, gripping his side as his whole body tensed. He nearly collapsed forward. And Selene? She didn't even flinch. Just rolled her eyes. "Useless," she muttered. "You're lucky to live here." That's when Rowan pushed the door wide open. The sound made both of them jump. Aldrich froze. Selene's face drained of color. Rowan didn't yell. He didn't explode. He simply walked to his father and gently lifted him from the floor. Aldrich tried to speak, "I'm fine, son. I promise," but his voice cracked. Rowan held him tighter. And in that moment, something inside Rowan changed forever. He carried his father out of the bathroom, ignoring Selene's stammering excuses, her fake tears, her desperate attempts to undo what he'd seen. But the truth was too loud to ignore now. In Aldrich's bedroom, drenched in afternoon sunlight, Rowan finally demanded the truth. And slowly, painfully, every truth spilled out. Selene had forced Aldrich to clean daily. She refused to let staff care for him. She withheld meals when he disobeyed. She forced him to handle the twins even when he was in severe pain. She guilted him into silence, saying Rowan would think he was ungrateful. Aldrich confessed everything with tears in his eyes. It wasn't just abuse. It was manipulation, control, and fear. Rowan felt grief twist into fury, not violent fury, but a quiet, determined one. The kind that changes lives. He called his attorney. He requested security footage from the mansion. He gathered every piece of evidence. And then he confronted Selene, legally, publicly, and without hesitation. The divorce was swift, irreversible, and stripped of her lies. Selene tried to defend herself, but images and recordings spoke louder than any rehearsed excuse she could offer. After she was gone, healing began. Rowan hired a full-time caregiver for Aldrich. He filled the mansion with warmth again, laughter, life, soft music, sunlight. He spent afternoons in the garden with his father, listening to stories he once never had time to hear. He realized that wealth meant nothing if the people you love are suffering silently behind closed doors. Slowly, Aldrich grew stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. The twins adored him. The house felt like a home again. And Rowan? He rebuilt not just his family, but himself. He learned to look beyond polished smiles. To question what people hide behind closed doors. To protect loved ones loudly, not quietly. To never assume silence means someone is okay. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner of MotivHeart Tales. Your support helps us spread real, emotional, and inspiring stories to people who need them. And before you go, tell us in the comments. Would you have forgiven Selene, or walked away forever? And with that, the painful chapter in the Bowmont home finally closed. Not with silence, but with truth, with healing, and with the sunlight of a new beginning.